I just wanted to tell you guys what happened last night really fast. Yesterday I was 22 weeks, so today I'm 22 weeks and a day. And I don't know if you guys saw my last video, but my last video I said like typically whatever the app says like my symptoms may be this week, I typically have them. So this week, 22 weeks, it said that I may experience Braxton Hicks. And if you don't know what those are kind of like your body getting ready for like the real thing. So yesterday, I started feeling like these really bad like pains. First, I kind of just let it go, and I was like, well, let me just change the way I'm laying, change my position, and they just still kept happening. That's when I told my husband, I'm like, okay, I keep feeling these pains, and he's like, well, what do they feel like? I'm like, they feel like contractions, but I know they're not contractions. So he's like, oh, I mean, well, how about I drink some water? So I'm like, okay, drunk some water, still was feeling them. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, you know, they could be Braxton Hicks. And he was pretty much saying that they should last, that you can have them throughout the day, or you can have them like maybe once or twice within an hour. And I'm like, okay, it's been about an hour and a half and I'm still having them. First, I was looking up the causes, like what could trigger you having the Braxton Hicks. Like 3 things I saw: exercising, intercourse, and then like being dehydrated. Me and my husband just had sex, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. You know, that could be why I'm feeling like this. Okay, cool, it makes sense. And then he's like, well, you're probably dehydrated because you only have 4 bottles of water today. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that could be it too. So I drank like 3 bottles of water, and I still kept having them. And I started getting scared because I'm like, okay, the internet is saying that I shouldn't be having them like multiple times within an hour. I probably should have just called my doctor, but I was just like, I'm the type of person where like, if I don't want to be alarmed. So if I call the doctor and they make me feel like it's something more, then I'm gonna freak out. So I was just like, let me just let it run its course. Let me try different things to see if it works, especially if some of these things are like normal things. And then I'm like, we're in a pandemic. So I'm like, well, they're gonna send me to the emergency room, and then y'all are gonna hook me up to stuff, and then y'all gonna tell me my husband can't come in there with me, and then I'm gonna be by myself, and that's gonna be stressful. So I kind of thought that out in my head, and I was like, nope, not calling the doctor. We just gonna ride this out and just see if it just goes away on its own. But at this point, I'm like walking around the room, and I just like, at one point, I just started praying, because I was just like, you know, it's starting to feel like I'm really having contractions. And I was just like, you know, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna give the devil that. You know, I'm okay. Everything's okay. My baby's okay. This is just this is normal. Braxton Hicks are normal. People have those all the time. There's nothing to be alarmed, no need to be scared. And I just kind of started praying to myself, like, you know, that my baby's gonna be healthy. I'm gonna carry her. No matter what happens, she's gonna be healthy. I'm just kind of doing this to myself, and I'm walking around, and then my husband comes back and he's like, okay, well, how do you feel? And I'm like, I still feel the same way. Like, I still feel the pains, I still feel it, and it's happening like frequently at this point. So then I'm like, okay, so then I go back on the internet and I'm like, okay, what can I do to stop? And like, I saw some people said drink like herbal tea, of course drink water, or take like a warm bath. So I was like, okay, let's take a warm bath. So we come in the bathroom, and like, I'm telling myself, now mind you, it's been about 30 minutes, so I've done my little inside prayer. I'm okay. He's like, do you want to call the doctor? I'm like, no. I would not recommend that, guys. It was just a me thing, and I just mentally, I was like, that's gonna make it worse for me. So when we got back into the bathroom, at this point, I'm starting to get scared, because I'm like, I keep having them, and I just started crying. And he's like, what's wrong? Are you in hurt? Like, is it hurting? And I'm like, it is. It's not painful. Yes, it hurts, but it's not painful. So he's like, okay, well, let's just run the bath water. So he runs the bath water, puts the Epsom salt in the bath, and then I sat in there for a minute, and then he's like, okay, well, maybe just close your eyes and just like breathe. And so he turns off the bathroom light, I'm sitting in the tub, and he's like, okay, just close your eyes, breathe, like just in and out, you know, inhale, exhale. And then he's like rubbing my belly, he's like splashing warm water on me, and he's like, does it hurt? And I'm like, it feels a whole lot better like sitting in the warm tub than it did before. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, okay, this must be working. It's not real contractions, because I don't think I would start to feel better. But I still was having them. I sat in the tub for like 30 minutes. We got out and I was feeling a little bit better, but not really. So when I got out the tub, I laid down, still feeling the same way. After I laid down, I think I got up a little bit and I took a Tylenol. And when I took a Tylenol, I honestly just fell asleep. So for me, that was scary. Like, I was terrified. Like I said, I cried, and I'm very sensitive, but I'm typically I'm typically pretty good. It was emotional more for me because in my head, I'm thinking like, first of all, I haven't had a kid in 3.5 years. This is my second kid, and I'm kind of scared because this is my husband's first kid. So I'm like, I want everything to go perfect. And the only thing I could think of was like, if this is really the real deal, like if I'm really having contractions right now, like my husband's gonna look at me like such a failure, because he's gonna be like, dang, it was my baby you couldn't carry, it was my baby that you couldn't make it to term with, like all of these things. And I know he probably really wouldn't have thought that, but for me, that's kind of what was going through my head. I'm like, oh my God, this is making me feel like something's wrong with me. He's gonna be like, you know, you had your first kid and you was healthy, you have my baby, and now all of these things are going wrong. Again, I know he wouldn't have really felt like that. It was just, these are the things I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, this is how he's gonna feel, and like, this is how I'm going to feel. Like, I'm going to feel like a failure. Don't drag me. I know some people are gonna be like, you should have called the doctor because you don't really know what's wrong. And I believe in a higher power. Doctors don't tell me final say-sos. Doctors don't tell me final say-sos. People don't tell me final say-sos. So I felt like when I was in a moment of distress, before I go to the extreme, I'm going to go to, in my mind, what is the extreme? And that's to pray about it and to talk to God about it. And that was just how that was going to be. Being pregnant in a pandemic is completely different than being pregnant any other time, because you have to now think about, is going to the doctor going to make me sick? You know what I mean? Or going to the doctor going to put my family in jeopardy? Or it's like all of these little things that go through your head that I feel like your first option isn't, let me run to the doctor. And just situations like that, I'm just like, I'm not going to cause a fuss. And it was mainly for my mental, but I definitely made sure that I felt her throughout the day. Like, for example, this morning I felt her kicking and moving. So I'm like, she's okay in there. She's okay. Plus, I had literally just that there earlier yesterday afternoon, I went to a doctor's appointment and she was fine. So that was kind of why I just wasn't so quick to just jump to, let's go to the doctor. And my husband definitely said it a couple times. And I don't feel like he said it because he felt like we should go. I think he was more so saying like, my wife is in pain and you're crying. And I think to him, my crying made him think I was in pain, but I was really just kind of in my head. But yeah, definitely wouldn't recommend it. If you feel like something is wrong, definitely call and make sure that everything's okay. But I do feel like, being that we're in a pandemic and being that there's so many other things you have to be cautious for, it's not so quick and it's not so easy for that to be your first result, to say, okay, I feel this, let me go to the doctor. But I feel fine today. Like, I feel like perfectly fine today. I feel like my normal self. Like I said, she was moving earlier this morning, but I just thought that I would share that with you. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.